My name is Nelson Makanda. I'm the chair of the selection panel. And let me say that it's a great pleasure to have you. And congratulations for being shortlisted for the position you applied for as a member of the IEBC. And we would like to have a brief interaction with you just to be able to assess your candidature for this position. I want to invite my colleagues here to introduce themselves to you, and then we will come to you in turn. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Linda 𝐒𝐤𝐚𝐵, and I serve this panel as a vice chairperson. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you to this interview. Karibu sana.
Bwana Ali, habari ya asubuhi.
Mzuri kabisa.
Mimi naitwa Bwana Andrew Tanui.
Yes.
Mwanachama wa chopo hili la uteuzi, na karibu.
Thank you, Mr. Tanui.
Good morning.
Morning.
Karo Kituko, a member of the panel.
Thanks.
Good morning, Bwana Ali.
Good morning.
My name is Adam Solo, a member of the selection panel.
Pleasure.
Good morning, sir. My name is 𝐒𝐚𝐚𝐧 Bore. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Welcome, Mheshimiwa. My name is Fatuma Ali Saman, a member of this panel. It's a pleasure to have my former MP.
Oh, thank you very much.
Good morning, Honorable Ali. Na karibu sana. My name is 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐚𝐧, and I'm a member of the panel.
Thanks.
Good morning, Honorable Ali.
Morning.
My name is Evans Misati. I'm a member of the selection panel, and we welcome you to this interaction session.
Thanks.
So it is your turn now to introduce yourself. We would like you to highlight your profile briefly to us in about 5 or so minutes, indicating why you think you're suitable for the position that you've applied for. Let us know if you have any honors or awards, and if you belong to any professional society or group. Please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the panel, for inviting me to this very important interview. My name is Ishaq Shaban Ali. My experience and qualification have been in terms of education. I have a bachelor's degree in international relations at the University of USIU Africa, which is domiciled in Kenya. I've also had a training, 3-year training technical course in the College of Ministry of Water Staff Training College, now the Kenya Water Institute. I've also had professional trainings in the Kenya School of Government and did a strategic leadership development program. I also had a training, professional training in the Institute of 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐚𝐧, which is in Arusha, Tanzania. I did a course in strategic intelligence and strategic emotional quotient. In my political experience, I worked in the Ministry of Water Development as a technical officer in Garissa for about 7 years. I was in charge of Garissa urban water supply, providing water to the people of Garissa and with the stakeholders in that county. I was also appointed as State Minister in the Ministry of Local Government during the Kibaki administration in the Ministry of Local Government. I was also appointed as chairperson in a parastatal called Northern Water Works Agency, whose mandate was about 7 counties, namely Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Samburu, Isiolo, Marsabit, and Laikipia counties, which I served for about 4 years. And my mandate was chair the board and the mandate of that agency. In terms of political experience, I was elected as a member of parliament in Mandera East constituency as an elected member for 3 terms, from 1994 to 2007. Thereafter, I lost election in 2007, but I came back to be a member of parliament between 2013 and 17. So I had a total of about 18 years as a member of parliament in the political cycle. Thanks.
In 2013, 2017, you are a member of parliament of where?
Lafay constituency.
Lafay. Thank you. Madam Linda, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mheshimiwa, from your experience as a parliamentarian,
Yes.
and of course your experience from the electoral cycles,
Yes.
in the 3 terms that you served, what competencies and skills do you intend to bring in that you got from that period and that will help you to execute your mandate in the event you're taken up as an IEBC commissioner?
I had the experience and skills I will bring to this organization is that I'm experienced politician. I've done a lot in electrical matters. I've engaged with the IEBC for a long time as one of their candidates. I had also had disputes with them in electoral matters, which I went to court. So in electoral matters, for the last 18 years, I was actually dealing with electoral matters. So a lot of experience with the IEBC, as well as political parties, because I'm also a product of political parties, where they have nominated me to stand for election. So I've also engaged in political parties. In terms of other skills, as a technical officer in the Ministry of Water, I was in charge of water supply. I had management skills. As a water officer, I was dealing with the management of Garissa urban water supply, where the whole Mandera people, the Garissa people was my stakeholders. As a manager, there's a lot of people who are coming under me, including staff, including assets, which I was managing. So in that process, I was involved in the planning and control and execution of the waterworks. At the end of the day, we're supposed to provide water which is clean, which is potable, which is wholesome, and at the end of the day, we give adequate water to the residents of Water Garissa as our stakeholders. So in that management, I was required to have control, to deliver, and to ensure that the Garissa people had enough adequate water. At the end of the day, our task was, the end product was Garissa people had water, had enough water to drink. In terms of administration, I was also dealing with public administration when I was officer, because 7 years I was dealing with the staff and ensuring that several staff, some are dealing with the issues of water quality, that's a laboratory. Some are maintaining the machines that was required to produce water. There was treatment, there was staff, there was those who were supposed to repair with these breakdowns. So at the end of the day, I was required to account for the work the employees were doing. So at the end of the year, what we used to do is what is called annual appraisal of the performance of each staff. At the same time, we had also I was charged with the disciplinary of the staff to see who is not working and who is not working. And at the end of the day, those who worked properly, we are rewarding them, either for promotions or other rewards. Thanks. No, sorry, I'm not completed. In terms of finance, I'm not a financial person, but in my work experience, I deal with financial matters. For example, when I was a board chair, we were required at the end of every financial year, before the financial year starts, to ensure that we complete the budget cycle. The secretariat will prepare the budget. As a board, our work was to put input so that we can transmit to the parent ministry. So in that way, we had financial, I interacted with finance. As a member of parliament, I was a member of many committees, including Public Investment Committee, Public Accounts Committee. And as a member, we are required to scrutinize the reports from the Auditor General of the executive and the executive in terms of the parent ministries and corporations. So in that regard, we had a lot of dealings with financial matters. We scrutinized the audits, the reports, where he has qualified, and at least in that process, we had a lot of interaction. In budget making, as a member of parliament, we're also dealing with budgetary issues, because once it leaves the treasury and it comes to us, stakeholders were coming to us. For example, if the Ministry of Agriculture, I was a member, stakeholders will come and we listen to them so that they can participate where there's a problem. And they say their issues and also financial matters. In terms of law, I must say I'm not a lawyer, but my role as a member of parliament included legislation. So many times we are called upon to legislate in terms of constitutional amendments, in terms of issues of regulations, we participate in terms of finance, including in the House, in the plenary, House of Committees. I've been part of it, and we have amended laws in the constitution making, like for example, in 2004, during the bombers, we participated in the constitution making, and that's law making. I was a member of one of the committees in devolution. So in that process, we also engaging a lot of constitution making, and there were a lot of stakeholders, and each one was contributing. So we did a lot of push and pull in order to ensure that devolution works.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa.
But I still have the real issues on governance. In governance, as a member of parliament, that's what we are doing with governance. That is the issue, actually, our job. As a member of parliament, we are accountable to the people of my constituency. You know, we have been accountable to them. If you're not accountable, you will not come back for 4 terms. So you have to address the issues every time, including the special groups, special interest groups, the women, those who are special needs, the youth. These are people you engage every day. So that's a lot of governance. And the rule of law, constitution making, law making, that's part of it. Accountability. You have to be transparent in all what you are doing. As a board member, I was playing an oversight role to ensure that the projects which are implemented by the technical people
Thank
were
you.
actually delivered.
Thank you. You have explained it. Thanks.
I'm okay, Chair. I think he has elaborated his skills and competencies, and that is enough. And in the interest of time, let me just return back to you, Chair. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I want to invite Carol to ask you some questions. Carol and Kituko, please.
Thank you, Chair. Mheshimiwa. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Caro.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
All right. So, what is, in your view, or your understanding of the mandate of the IBC under Article 88(4) of the Constitution?
Under Article 88, the mandate of the Electoral Commission mostly deals with the electoral cycle. It includes from the time of voter registration, voter education, voter verification, ensuring that all aspects of voter registration is done, including continuous voter registration, so that voters can get their voters card everywhere, so that they can, especially, they have special emphasis to the special groups, interest groups, whom from my political experience, are very important. The women, especially the women, they are the best voters when it comes to voting, and the youth. The other groups.
Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
let's come back to
Yes.
the Article 88(4). Let's limit our conversation
Yes.
on that provision.
Yes.
You've spoken about one of the mandate of the IBC being voter registration,
Yes.
voters education. Do you understand like which other mandate or which other functions of the IBC? You can mention 3 more.
Okay. The other mandates is carrying the elections, during the general election. That's one of their mandates. The other mandate is procurement, so that they can procure the logistics that is required to perform during electioneering. There are also the other mandate of IBC is to ensure that from the clinical report, it was recommended that we have a technology that is transparent, that is verifiable, so they also to ensure that they deal with the stakeholders even pre-election, to engage the stakeholders wherever they are, to ensure that that technology is working, so that they have the confidence of the people, all the stakeholders.
So you have said one of the functions of the IBC is to conduct elections in Kenya.
Yes.
What do you think, or should you become a member of the IBC, what do you suggest to do to improve the integrity of the electoral processes in Kenya?
Very well. I think the integrity is that the results of the elections must be received in good time, so that there's no delay. They have also to ensure that the integrity of the elections, there must be secrecy of the ballot. During the ballot, it must be very confidential in terms of in terms of agents and officials, they should ensure that there is no interference during the day of the election when people are voting. Because you can remember, the officials and the agents have all taken oath of office. So they have to ensure the secrecy of the oath so that people can vote freely.
Thank you very much. I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Very well.
Thanks.
Thank you, Madam.
I want to invite FCS 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐚𝐬 to ask you some questions. 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐚𝐬, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mheshimiwa Ali,
Yes.
for 18 years, you have been a consumer of services by IEBC.
Yes.
Now you are seeking to be a member of IEBC.
Yes.
And for those 18 years, you said you have also sued IEBC because of maybe something they have done which you didn't like.
Yes.
In terms of conducting elections.
Yes.
And we know the integrity and the legitimacy of the electoral process in Kenya actually depends fully on the conduct of political parties and candidates in an election. Yes. Unlike what is popularly believed that it is IEBC. IEBC is just an arbiter, or
Yes.
They supervise and conduct elections.
Yes.
Your experience,
Yes.
I would like you to identify 3 things that you have done as a candidate in the 18 years that have, number 1, disadvantaged or undermined the work of IEBC. And 3 things that you have done that have actually enhanced or supported or complemented the work of IEBC. So let's look at let's first discuss the 3 things as a politician, not you, Mheshimiwa, but generally people from that political divide, political parties, candidates. What do you do that undermine the work of IEBC? 3 things.
Okay, and not what I supported with the IEBC. What undermined?
That is the next after, but we start with the negative things.
What I have done to undermine the IEBC?
Not you, but political parties and candidates.
Oh, political parties.
Because you are clients and customers of IEBC.
Yes.
And you are the reason why elections actually do not succeed, or they fail, or they succeed.
Oh, very well.
So what are those 3 things that political parties and candidates do that actually undermine the work of IEBC?
Okay, as I start with as a candidate. As candidates, I think there's political interference by the candidates in terms of favoring certain, officials to be posted in a certain area. The other thing that undermines is that during the voting, some candidates, they still, after some time, 3 days or some days, you're supposed to be campaigning. So they continue campaigning, either even in where the polling is taking place. The other thing is issue of bribery. Some of them, they think they do double registration. They think they will get more votes, not knowing that's an illegal. I think a lot of things happen that really undermines the integrity of IEBC.
Thank you very much. And what are the 3 things that you do
Yes.
that can enhance the work of IEBC? And when you answer those 3 things that enhance the work of IEBC, please tell the panel how you will strengthen those 3 things if you are successful and you become a member of IEBC.
Yes. I think one of the things I've done as a member of parliament to enhance the work of IBC is can we say civic education. I've been going around before even, or during the election, during the voter registration, very flank areas everywhere to ensure people register without the input of the IBC. In that way, I was helping political rights and universal suffrage. That is one. Two, I was helping the IBC is that in very far marginalized areas where IBC could not reach, we have been taking voter education and telling people it's time for registration at our own expense. Can you come and register? The other thing we've been trying to help is to go to people with special needs, like people who are disabled, to ensure that we go to the institutions so that they register as voters, so that they are not left out. Other thing, very important things, is to engage the youth. And a lot of times, youths have been defensionalized. They have not been voting. Majority of them have been left out because of IDs. So we're making sure to go our way to the people who deal with the registration of ID cards, to ensure that youth get ID cards. And in that way, we're helping the IBC so that we have more people registering.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Just one more follow-up question. Should you be successful, what specific actions are you going to propose or to undertake to strengthen these three things at IEBC? These three positive things that help IEBC.
One, I come from a very rural area. We enhance increasing more polling stations so that we can reach the people in helping the right people to vote. That's one. Mobile registration. People on pastorals, we advocate for mobile registration. IBC go down to far flank areas to go and register those people. And the other thing is to improve registration. In Article 38, there's political rights. And there's universal suffrage, the right to vote, and everybody who is adult to have to vote and to be registered. So I think what we need to do is continuous registration, which is now not taking place. Probably when the IBC is not there, why don't you have continuous, why don't you invite the Secretariat to continue registering people? For now 2 years, we have not done anything. So, but still there's the issue of oversight. For every voter registration to take place, then there's gazettement. Then how do you balance the two? And at the same time, how do we take voter registration far away now? It's based on the constituency. Can we take it far and take it to the ward? I know it will come with a cost. So that one, we can achieve the universal suffrage, which we are required for every Kenyan to be registered and to vote.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, and all the best. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Turn to FCP Tanui to ask you some questions. FCP, please.
Jambo, Mheshimiwa. Yeah, you are continuing to tell us your skills. Maybe, are there any skills that you've left out? The skills. You remember the questions my vice chair had asked you And it's like you wanted to continue to tell us some of the skills that you're bringing on board. I heard you talk of finance, management, law. Were there any that you had left out?
I talked of governance, electoral matters, public administration, I talked.
Yes, you talked.
I talked about management when I was a technical officer. Probably other things, beginning experience.
So
in terms of competence.
No, that's fine. I thought there were still others that you wanted to say, but
Very
that's fine. So let me pick the one on finance. And I think you did mention that you've been participating in budget making at Parliament. So specifically, what indicators or performance indicators will we use, or will you use, assuming you get the job as a commissioner at IEBC, to ensure that there is financial efficiency at IEBC? Financial efficiency. What indicators or what measures will you use to establish that IEBC is financially efficient? Thank you.
One, I have an experience as a board chairperson. In order to have finance properly protected, we have the auditors, internal audits, who will audit the projects and they directly report to the board instead of the management. So in that way, they will be able to tell us as a board, in the commission, any wrongdoings. Another thing which is also important is that you must have a quarterly report to show that where is a misstep, where is a problem, through the audit reports. And the other thing, we also engage external auditors. In our management, we also have government, we have external auditors. Where we have a serious problem, we invite external auditors to come and produce our documents. The other things, other controls, is that on finances, you said finances, as a board, I think we have to play our oversight role. As members, that's what we're given. At the end of the day, there are audit reports which are qualified from the Auditor General. Then we have to ensure that we comply with the audit report from the Auditor General so that we can be able to close all loopholes which has been said by the Auditor General. That's also a way of helping the IEBC to run properly.
Thank you, and I wish you well. Back
Yes.
to you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Evans Misati, please. You want to ask?
Thanks so much, Chair. Mheshimiwa, allow me also to take you back to what you mentioned about the voter registration and the ongoing activities, and you are concerned that it has not been ongoing. Now, from your understanding, you mentioned about the oversight role of gazetting the IEBC's personnel that does that. So what will you do in view of the fact that the Constitution says that voter registration should be a continuous process? So what will you initiate in terms of regulations to ensure that that happens?
In terms of regulations, I think we have to enhance more legislation, as I said. In terms of voter registration, to enhance it, as I said, we can take it further. We make it continuous. One, if budgetary allows, we can take it further to the wards. We put more regulations to put it to the wards so that we achieve more more people to vote. The other thing is that, that requires finance. And a lot of times, the IBC does not have finance, and when it is required. So I think we need to legislate to ensure that the IBC, through Parliament, to ensure that IBC receives the necessary funding from Treasury and parliamentary approval. But now there's a problem. Sometimes there's political interference. I think what we need to do is charge finances to IBC on the consolidated fund and make it mandatory. And also give it timelines so that we don't have delay of the finances to IBC. Sometimes you are supposed to register, you don't have finance. There's political interference. You can't move. So we make it law so that finances are released in real time, say 2 years before elections. And if it's not released, we make it either regulation or legislation, we give it timelines. If the Treasury does not release money in good time, I think we give it a penalty that they have committed an offense. That way the Electoral Commission can work. Many times, you see, because of political interference, IBC is just idle. And last minute money is released. When there's a logistical issues, sometimes that take a long time, like for example, the technology. You have to procure, and because of public trust, you have to procure outside. And that requires a lot of timelines. I think those are issues that has to be dealt with.
Thanks so much, Mheshimiwa. Now, let me take you back to the issue of voter registration at the regional levels. We have been thinking, is it possible for the IPC staff who are the constituency levels to be doing the same continuous updating the list? Maybe they can work with 𝐤𝐚𝐚𝐽, the chiefs and the assistant chiefs, to ensure that, because the chiefs and assistant chiefs, they know the people who have died within their regions, so that such reports are sent to IPC and IPC is able to update their records. So what is the problem? Are you able to do that if you are given that position as a commissioner?
Yes, I think, IBC cannot work alone. It's not an island. It has to work with other stakeholders. Probably, they have to work with the registrar of births and deaths. And that is recorded in every constituency where they are. So I think what we need to do is to engage the registrar of births as a stakeholder so that in real time, the staff at the constituency level, there's a monthly or quarterly report from registrar of persons, and he gives to the election officials at the constituency level. I think that's a very important aspect, that we engage other stakeholders, like registrar of births and deaths.
Thanks so much, Mheshimiwa. I wish you well. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you. I want to ask Fatuma to ask you some questions also. Fatuma, please.
No, Mheshimiwa, the IEBC is expected to engage stakeholders in its work. Who are these stakeholders, especially the critical ones? Would you tell us, please?
I think, okay.
Please turn on your mic. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry. Can I repeat again?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. The very important stakeholders, if I start with the political ones, is Parliament is a major stakeholder because they are very interest groups. You have to engage the political parties. They're the ones who give us the candidates. They are very important stakeholders. You have to engage with the media for purpose of information. That you need to use them. The other stakeholders are special interest groups, who are very important, as you said. The women, the youth, who make the bulk of the voters, the voter registration, they make the bulk. And those who have the special needs are very important. Of course, the treasury is also a stakeholder because they give us money. And they have to give us money at the right time. It's important to also engage them. Thank you.
Pick any of the three and tell us how they can collaborate with the IEBC.
Let me take Parliament because I've been a parliamentarian, how they cooperate as a major stakeholder. From time to time, IBC needs Parliament, one for financial approval, because they need to have adequate funding on efficiencies, or because of, as I said, the political interference. We need Parliament to pass laws. As I said, these funds should come from the consolidated fund, should be charged. They should also legislate or legislate that the officer who is in charge of releasing the money, if it does not release, say in 2 years, or at the minimum 1 year, because you have to deal with the logistics, then you give him a penalty. In that way, then Parliament will do its work. The other thing is Parliament plays, for example, during the delimitation of boundaries, there's requirement for parliamentary approval. So IEBC and Parliament will work together. On the other thing also, Parliament audits. IEBC is a political entity, so they are required also to submit their reports to Parliament either annually or yearly. So that's also where Parliament plays a role between IEBC and Parliament. So when there is any deficit of legislation, then we engage in Parliament. You said any three. Okay, the other stakeholders, the IBC need to deal, I said about the treasury. They have to deal with the treasury because there's always delay in fund disbursement to IBC, either political or deliberatory. If that happens, then we cannot meet our mandate because we must have the right tools and thread to deliver. We must have materials in place. So if the funds are not there in good time, last minute rush will not work. So we have to engage Treasury in early enough and so that they can release money. In case of any problem, we have to deal with other stakeholders, the Parliament, or even political parties, to ensure that so that because of trust deficit, people think that the IBC cannot deliver. I think we have to be transparent and deal with the Parliament and deal with Treasury and deal with other political parties so that they know where we have a problem. So we don't sit until the last minute, unangoja pesa kutoka Treasury inakuja and it does not come. At the end of the day, you are blamed. The buck stops with IBC, Patuma. And of course, I think the media is a very important component because whenever there's a general election and we gazette, I think we need to invite the media so they tell Kenyans that there's a general election. The people will not know. And at any time there are issues, we invite the media as stakeholders, they're very important, to tell them where we are, what problems we have, so that they know. For example, if you're in the elections and there's a failure of technology, we have to inform the people. Now we have to invite the media, tell them what we are doing. We have a backup, and registration will continue. So that if you don't inform, there will be misinformation. So, but you know that it's a failure, but the electoral process continues, we have a backup. So media is involved. It's important to engage them at any level, either quarterly, we have a program for them. Is that yes. A civil society? I think also civil societies are very important stakeholders, and people who can get money independently from other sources, and they can continue with the, voter education during voter registration, civic education, the rights of people. I think those are also important, very important stakeholders.
Thank you very much. I wish you well. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Members of LAFEI must be very happy that their constituent and their former MP are interacting.
Very well, capable lady, but sometimes she was in Nairobi, so I missed her to vote for me.
Actually, he was my MP. He was my MP as
Mandera East.
East.
Okay.
Not LAFEI.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Nicodemus, please.
Shaban, you have previous experience as a member of parliament, having served for 3 terms. And during your tenure as a member of parliament, what areas of collaboration can you identify between the IEBC and parliament that ended up in enhancing the good work of IEBC? And is there areas that you felt that you did not do the right, you guys as parliament did not do the right, did not follow the right way, we did not do the right thing to have IEBC be more independent?
You said how many areas of collaboration?
What areas of collaboration?
What areas of collaboration?
Yes.
I think one of the areas of collaboration parliament and IBC that engages about approval of their budget, of IBC budget, during budget making. So that's an engagement IBC deals with the parliament. The other one is lawmaking. If IBC requires certain laws to be changed or amended, or certain regulations to be enhanced, then they engage parliament. That's also an important aspect. And in terms of oversight, we engage IBC, parliament engages IBC, because the audit reports from the Auditor General, and we engage them in matters of how they serve the people of Kenya within their mandate, and the audit reports, and for accountability. So we also engage with IBC for accountability, so that they're accountable to the people of Kenya in terms of finances they're given, in terms of personnel, how they, in case of any audit report that's qualified by Auditor General, then Parliament engages the IBC.
I had a follow-up question that in your tenure as a member of parliament, do you think there are areas that you guys felt you would have done better in terms of giving the IEBC its mandate of running the elections of this country?
Yeah, one, I think, is the one I was talking about, the giving budget to the Electoral Commission in real time. And we, as a stakeholders, we also have been victims. If the IBC is handicapped and they cannot conduct the elections, then as a candidate, you also lose. As a stakeholder, you lose. The people will lose. So I think where we have probably, as a parliament, we have failed, is to ensure that the funding from Treasury comes to the IBC in real time, probably 2 years before, so the procurements and logistical issues are done in time. Because most of this logistics, technology, you have to procure from outside, not from Kenya, because of, trust deficit. You can, Madam Caro, you can print ballot papers here. You can have the technology here, but who will trust you? People say the executive is the one. So you have to get the technology, the right technology. You have to bring it. Even when you bring it in good time, you have to test it, that is working. We have to call all the stakeholders, the media, the political parties, anybody else, the parliamentarians, the people, to show the technology is working. In terms of voter registration, in terms of voter verification, in terms of voting. So these are a lot of processes. So if Treasury, we have to enforce laws for the Treasury as parliamentarians and lawmakers to ensure that money is released in good time, and we legislate if it's possible. We say they have to release money in 2 years before the elections. So the logistic issues are done. And then give penalties to the accounting officer if he delays. Otherwise, somebody in the executive wants to delay and they have more, more days and make sure money is not received. So what do? You have to do our parliamentary function.
Thank you.
To ensure that we are accountable to the people of Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best, Shaban.
Thank you. I invite Professor 𝐒𝐚𝐚𝐚𝐬 to ask you some questions. Prof.
Mheshimiwa, you've served for 4 terms.
Yes, sir.
Which means you are one of the longest serving member of parliament.
Yes.
I think the ones who beat you are Samuel Moroto, 5 terms, Adan Kenyan, 5 times. So you are in the top cream.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Ahmed Isaac Hassan, the former chairman of IEBC, titled his biography, Referee of a Dirty, Ugly Game. Using that analogy, many a time, the players, either they become player coaches or they become coaches. Rarely do they aspire to be referees. But here is Shaban, a player, not seeking to be a player coach or a coach, but seeking to be a referee.
Yes.
Tell us what motivates you to go that route of referee as opposed to a coach, a party leader or something like that.
Thank you, Professor. I'm a Kenyan and I have to serve the people of Kenya. I've served in parliament for a long time. I felt that I need to serve Kenyans in another area. And I want to bring all that experience I had as a member of parliament. I know a lot of workings of IEBC, where there are challenges, where there is positive. And as I told you, even IEBC, I had a dispute with them, and I went to court, and I have won because of irregularities. So I know certain areas where they don't do well. For example, in my first term, I had an issue, but I didn't know that I need to go to the commissions, to the commissioners. So I was only dealing with the returning officers. And I had a serious issue. So these guys were ignoring me and at the end of the day, serious irregularities happened. Could I have known that the commissioners have the powers second level to report to. Then I will go to the commissioners. Now I know the areas where disputes can come in. That's one. The other one, political parties. I have been the subject of many political parties primaries. They are also sometimes not a saint. Sometimes they just nominate without due process. And you will be the popular candidate and you're that party, and time has lapsed. So we have to ensure that we subject IEBC as an arbiter, the political parties, so they do the right thing at the right time. And the nomination they do in good time, and they submit those lists in good time. And if there's any irregularities, you know, if there's no timelines, there are a lot of things IEBC can do. So we have to give timelines in which they can bring their nominated candidates to IEBC. If there's a dispute, it can be resolved. Sometimes 3 days to the election, and there's still a dispute. It's a major issue. So this issue of making sure that disputes are resolved in good time is very important. The other thing I bring to the table, as a parliamentarian, and I will bring to assist the Commission, in terms of electoral disputes, I'm happy that the CLIC report mentioned it, that the cases should be finished in good time, in real time. So it's 6 months. During our time, as a member, when I was dealing, when I had a petition in the court, there was no timeline. In fact, my case was decided after 2 years. Others were decided on the eve of elections. So this is what I'm bringing to the table, that experience. And the one I mentioned about the funding from IEBC, it's a serious issue we have witnessed. During voter registration, you're being told there are no funds, there are no equipment, no materials. This is what I want to bring to the IEBC.
Lastly, you've just mentioned Parliament, and initially you had mentioned Parliament as one of the expertise you bring in terms of legislation, in terms of being a member of various committees, including Public Investment Committee. From that background and experience, what are some of the measures that during your service in Parliament you undertook in fighting unethical behavior, be it financial irregularities, be it integrity issues, that you will bring to IEBC?
During any time or during Parliament?
During your tenure in Parliament, 4 terms.
Or outside Parliament? Okay.
No, in Parliament.
In Parliament. Very well, you know, as a member of Parliament, when Kenya became a multi-party democracy, when Section 2A was repealed, after some time, even within time, you know, Parliament was still reporting to the executive. And as young parliamentarians and Democrats, we had an exposure, we went around the countries, and many countries, parliamentary countries, presidential systems, and we found out that there was need to have separation of powers. And the system was not ready for it. So, as young parliamentarians, we have come together, especially the backbench, we call backbench, and we said the interest of the country is larger than our individual interest. So we came together, and as a team backbench, we drafted a bill. And we appointed Olo Arinko as chairperson. So we passed the bill in Parliament with the simple majority, and it was rejected by the presidential assent. So it came back to Parliament, As members of parliament, especially where I was that time in Kanu, in the Kanu party, we have been summoned to State House. So we are told not to pass that bill. But you see, there needs to be checks and balances. So your individual interest and overrides I mean, not the country's interest overrides your individual interest. You're a lawmaker. The country is looking unto you. So when we have invited the backbench from Kanu, mzee alisema hii mambo hakuna, you have to reject this bill. Lakini there was a lot of pressure even within ourselves. So we had taken a small oath, but when we started, there was a lot of pressure, and we had to breathe. We had to breathe, others couldn't breathe. So we said, Mzee, we have voted for you, but this one is the interest of the country. There has to be checks and balance. So we left it despite the balance. We called the rest of the MPs. We did a bipartisan approach. And we also called the assistant ministers. Those days they were called, we were calling them, they were neither birds nor animals. So we all came together, and when the bill was called, we passed with 2/3 majority. That's why I have Parliamentary Service Commission. That's why we have separation of powers. That I took a lot of part.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, Prof, do you have some questions, small ones?
Yeah,
Short.
now that you are in familiar territory with the Parliamentary Service Commission, also can you tell us the forum that gave birth to the ECK of 1997, the ECK that conducted the 1997 elections? Which forum, given that good parliamentary history?
Mr. Prof, for that question, it was the interparliamentary group.
Lastly,
Parliamentary group, which came together as a bipartisan team, and then there were a lot of reforms that time. Even there were a lot.
just quick, so you've answered.
Yes.
You don't need to explain that.
Yes.
The last question. Recently, we saw the Gen Z protests, not just in Kenya, but across the world. But earlier on, there was the Arab Spring. Which country in Africa experienced the first Arab Spring?
That's very hot. Is in North Africa. That's Tunisia.
Thank you, Chair.
Did you mean Tunisia is very hot?
It's not hot. It's where the revolution started, and that revolution was very hot.
Okay, okay. Thank you. We have finished our interview with you. We thank you for availing yourself and for the time we have had together. I don't know whether you have any question or comment to make so that we can release you.
Some suggestions, or since I'm here for the interest of the panel in the country. You know, the major problem we have in this country is the winner takes it all. And you can win with a very small margin. And a lot of Kenyans are also left out. For example, somebody gets 49%, the other one gets 50 plus one as required. So that person is not peaceful. Is not peaceful. And after elections, it's presidential, you have no role to play. And our democracy is young. So I think what is very important is to give that runners-up a place to breathe. Probably you can have him as a leader of official opposition in the House. He can keep his troops. Now his troops now are helter-skelter. I remember during the time of Kibaki, when he was the leader of official opposition, he was making the government accountable, and his troops were safe. And he was providing leadership. So there was balance of power. Now there's no balance of power. The guy is outside. He has 49%. People voted for him. He's an angry man. He has noted, but probably, you know, these laws should be made for posterity. It's not made for an individual.
Thank you.
Because it can, you know, that's why I'm saying keep the runners up in the House so that he does not think all the time. But there's one time, you know, although every vote counts at the same time.
Thank you, sir. I think that's enough.
Otherwise, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Yes.
I cannot take it for granted.
Yeah.
And wish you well.
Thank you. And for your comments, I hope that you participated in NADCO by giving some views. And what we have as governance today is it came to the parliament as a bill before we approved it in a referendum. So that's what we have as a constitution today, and you participated. So we hope that your comments can be taken up elsewhere. But we wish you well. Please remember to pick your documents, your certificates. The notebook is yours. We have enjoyed our time with you. Thank you very much. Yeah, your documents are at the door there. Thank you. Thank you.